Being part of a company that has been around for 150 years personally is a great source of pride because people saw in me what they felt was required to keep it going. And you know, going back to part of the reason for the amalgamation was the foresight of the companies to say, okay, we need to make some changes in order to keep this relevant again, not 10 years from now, but 50 years from now. If we think about why mutual insurance was started back then, it remains relevant today. It was a community thing. It was so hard to buy insurance. It was so hard to try to make a claim back then. Communities were required to come together to create organizations like this. And I think that it is extremely important that we haven't lost sight of that. The amalgamation and becoming AXIOM as a company was really important for the sustainability of something that has gone on for almost 150 years. So that's really what AXIOM means to me.
The interesting part to me when we announced the amalgamation and did the pre-amalgamation work, coming together and trying to establish what mission, vision, and values were going to lead us, as well as how we're going to approach this whole amalgamated company, was that it's a once-in-a-lifetime, a career lifetime opportunity to be part of something new, but to use and base what we're doing on things we know are established and we can trust. And so it was like we had two groups of professional insurance people who knew how to manage their companies and work with their members and the people working in the organizations, but you didn't really know each other very well. So the initial part, the task and the challenge was to work as a team as opposed to working as two individual small mutuals that were focused in different communities. So that was a challenge, and the journey had to start with, we know what we're doing individually, now we have to know what we're doing together and bring that together. The board of directors and the leadership team, of course, met off-site, went through a lot of back and forth, what we want this company to be from a culture perspective as opposed to strategy. The strategy for a mutual insurance company doesn't really change a lot, but the culture has to be in place, and we had to bring two different cultures. Even though we were in the same business, we were still mutual insurance companies, the cultures were different. Simply for the main reason is that the companies were different. See, Hey Mutual had the same name since they started. Town & Country went through an amalgamation in 2001, and we brought those cultures together then, so we've only had 20 years as Town & Country. We have to respect the fact that Hey policyholders have known that name for as long as they've been buying insurance. I mean, it's a generational connection to Hey Mutual, so we really had to start with how would it look like to the Hey policyholders who are so used to that name, and then try to bring ourselves together as a team as opposed to two individual groups of people. Have key people from each department involved in the process. It wasn't something that was dictated by myself or any other manager. We didn't say these are going to be your culture and strategy objectives for the claims department. The claims department were involved in that. With sales and with underwriting, there were a lot of people in those departments, so not everyone was involved, but we allowed the managers to pick their own team to join them on that refresh process. And that's what we called it. We called it simply a refresh. We know what we're doing, we know how to do it, but we need to have a different look at it now based on what we are as a company.
Being part of the naming committee and the branding committee really showed the leadership team their commitment to excellence and opening up their ears to other philosophies. So I came to the organization after the amalgamation already occurred, but at the beginning stages of the naming process. So the desired culture of inclusion and being open to other perspectives was really evident in how they shared that process with someone like myself who was newer to the team. It was so much fun to be part of the marketing committee and developing the press release and ordering the swag and seeing the clothing come in. And every time the courier would show up with a new box of swag, we'd get really excited to see our name in color and in print. And probably the most exciting thing for me was September 1st when he came to the office and people were wearing their new branded clothing and happy and committed to the ongoing journey of the organization.
So when we had the opportunity to see the logo for AXIOM Mutual, for me it really came full circle and brought everything together, especially when we look at the colors that we used, because both of those colors give a tip of the hat or sort of a salute, a respective salute to our legacy companies, being Hay Mutual and Town & Country. And so incorporating the Town & Country green and the Hay Mutual gold colors, to me, it really just reflects that as much as we're moving forward, we still certainly respect the legacy of our heritage companies. And so bringing that brand new, fresh, clean logo, and it's so modern and it's so different from anything that the mutuals have ever seen. But then to incorporate those historic colors, I think really it just brings it all together for me, and to me nothing gets lost. You know, we don't lose the respect of those heritage companies in those colors.